Hi, thanks for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. I'm Andrea. I happen to be standing on a yoga mat. Don't let it discourage you if you don't have one. Just find a carpeted area, someplace that's not too slippery, and you're going to be fine. Always nice to have a chair in the mix. This is not a practice where I will have specific things that need a chair, but I kind of find like I need a chair sometimes regardless. So good to have it nearby. A folded blanket, that could be a beach towel, the throw blanket from your couch, and a couple of blocks. Maybe you have some sturdy books that could substitute. If you situate yourself so that you're facing me, I think you're going to be able to see me the best, and I will also do my best to move around a bit so that you're able to see what we're up to as we climb into our practice together today. We'll start in our mountain, feet hip distance, soft bend in your knees. It's here that we land. Feet in the earth, head to the heavens. Palms face away from each other, and that gives us an uplift in our heart, both in the physical uplift of our postural stance, but an uplift of our spirits and the ability to gaze at our bright horizon. Find your breath here. You've been breathing all along, but maybe not with a lot of awareness. So bring your awareness to your breath, and if you can, breathe just in and out through your nose, ideally from now until the end of our practice. Let this breath and this stance be enough, and I'll be silent for just a few moments so that we can stop, so that we can start. Now bend your knees and inhale into a chair, thumbs to the sky, and exhale, stand, float your arms, palms face out. Bend your knees, V-shaped thumbs to the sky, weight into your heels, a chair pose. Stand and float your arms along your side. So if you can inhale into chair, thumbs to the sky, and exhale, stand, float your arms along your side. It's our warm-up. Bend your knees, inhale, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, float your arms along your side. Adding on, bend your knees, chair pose, thumbs to the sky. As we stand and float the arms alongside us, stand on your left leg. Just draw your right knee a little bit towards your chest and head back to your chair. Thumbs to the sky, both feet on the ground, hip distance. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Take your left knee towards your chest. Inhale, chair, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, standing on your left leg, right knee to your chest. Inhale, chair pose, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, standing on your right leg, left knee towards your chest. One more round each side. Inhale. Exhale, standing on your left, right knee towards your chest. Inhale, chair. Exhale, standing onto your right, left knee to your chest. And then chair pose, thumbs to the sky, stand, pause here. Take your right thumb out to the side. Pat yourself on the back with your right hand, and then left arm out to the side, thumb faces down, back of your hand on the small of your back for a moment. Keep your low belly lifting, your eyes, your gaze on the bright horizon. And we'll switch sides with this slowly. Arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky. Left arm to the sky, thumb to the sky, and you pat yourself on the back. Right thumb faces down in the back of your right hand, the small of your back, and you pause. Low belly lifting, gazing to our bright horizon and pausing. Now unwind your arms, thumbs to the sky, out to the side, and then reach with your thumbs to the sky, arms out in front of you. Give yourself a hug because that was just so fantastic. You've patted yourself on the back, so crisscross right elbow on top, and give yourself a hug. If it feels available, you can bring like your clapping hands with your feathers to the sky. These are eagle arms. And then we'll do the other side. So thumbs to the sky, arms out to the side. Crisscross with your hug to yourself, left elbow on top. If you want, you can take your fingers to the sky. So we've just begun and we've already patted ourselves on the back and given ourselves a hug. Talk about self-love. Pretty good stuff. Now unwind, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky. Float your arms along your side and then step out wide onto your mat. Again, thumbs to the sky in our wide stance so we can measure ankles underneath wrists. Then turn your heels in and your toes out with your thumbs to the sky. Bend your knees like a little bit of a squat or a plie. Now it might feel good to you to take the V shape overhead or just keep your thumbs to the sky with the arms out to the side. Straighten your legs, float your arms alongside you, palms face out. Bend your knees, it's like our chair pose. We'll inhale as we bend our knees, thumbs to the sky, and then we'll exhale and stand, floating your arms along your side, palms face out. Bend your knees, inhale, V shape. Exhale, straighten your legs, float your arms along your sides. One more time like that, bend your knees, thumbs to the sky, V shape, and then float your arms along your sides and pause. Thumbs to the sky, V shape, right thumb to the sky, pat yourself on the back. Left thumb faces down, back of your left hand to the small of your back. Now low belly lifting, and we stay here in our plie or our squat. Bring your breath into the challenge and do your best. If you need to straighten your legs or lose the arm positioning with your arms alongside you, anytime, feel free. 2 more. Now, arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky, arms out in front of you, right elbow on top. Give yourself a hug while we're here. Maybe even the full arms. We're almost done, I promise. Unravel your arms, thumbs to the sky, and then straighten your legs and float your arms alongside you and pause. Beautifully done. Bend your knees, thumbs to the sky. Now left thumb to the sky, pat yourself on the back. Right thumb faces down, back of your right hand to the small of your back, low belly lifting. A couple moments here in our plie, which you're welcome to straighten and rebend anytime. 2 more moments. And then just unwind your arms, thumbs to the sky, out to the side, arms out in front of you. Give yourself a hug, left elbow on top. If you want to make the full eagle arm and that works okay with you, great. Unravel your arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky. Straighten your legs and turn all your toes to face the long edge of your mat. Then heel toe, so that we can do some mindful prop movement. If you're using your blocks, or if you enjoy using blocks for triangle, take your 2 blocks, place them tall at that back long edge of your mat or your space. If you enjoy using your chair for triangle, move your chair so that it's in the middle of your mat and you can reach your hand to the seat of your chair. They're both great options. Then return to that facing of the long edge of our mat, and thumbs to the sky as our arms reach out. We measure our ankles underneath our wrists, and then bring your hands onto your hips. Turn your right leg out, and you can feel that originate in your hip. Turn your right foot so it faces the short edge of your mat, and then cheat your back heel, your left heel at a 45-degree angle. Yeah? Thumbs to the sky as we reach out, and this is not a side bend, this is a hinge at the hip. So a little sass as you lift your left hip and hinge at your hip, and then reach out for either your tall block on the outside of your right foot or the seat of your chair underneath your right hand. Spin the inner upper arms away from each other and let it feel like there's space between your shoulders and your ears. Although our front leg is straight, there's a soft whisper of bend. We never feel like we're locked in any of the poses. Now think of the bottom arm when you were patting yourself on the back. Turn your left thumb down and take the back of your left hand to the small of your back. Here, in our triangle pose. And we'll take a couple moments just like this. Look down and bend your front knee. You might want a little bit more space forward and back, so I'm inching my right foot forward. Sometimes that transition from triangle into our side angle. You can keep your hand on the seat of your chair or on your block, or you can take your forearm across your right thigh, which is what we often do. But we're keeping that left arm behind our back for the time being. 2 moments. Now, firm your belly. Try, if you can, to keep your left hand where it is and come upright with your right thumb to the sky. Warrior 2. In our Warrior 2, pat yourself on the back because you're just that good. This is like pat on the back number 3 or 4 or 6 or something, but they are all deserved. Pause for a moment and feel your right thigh bone moving towards the right, like a moment ago when your arm was there. Keep breathing, take breaks as you need them. Unwind your arms, thumbs to the sky. Reach your arms in front of you, thumbs to the sky. Give yourself a hug here in your warrior pose, and maybe it becomes that full eagle arm. 2 moments, just like this. Now unwind your arms, thumbs to the sky. Slowly straighten your front leg. Turn all toes to face the long edge of your mat. Pause for a second. Make sure props are out of the way. So I'm going to move my block that was on my right side off my mat now so that it's not underfoot for our second side. Palms face out as we stand in the middle. And then hands to your hips. Mindfully turn your left foot to face that short edge of your mat. Cheat your right heel now at your 45-degree angle. So we're positioned for our triangle on our second side. Thumbs to the sky, reaching out to the side. Now the sass is in lifting the right hip. So again, we're hinging at our hip, reaching out long. And then take your left hand onto your block or onto the seat of your chair. Right thumb to the sky. Little softness in that front leg so we don't feel like we're locked into our joints, and then spin the inner upper arms away from each other so it feels spacious. Once you're there, turn your right thumb down, back of the right hand to the small of our back, just like we've practiced a few times in other poses. We're still not straining in our neck, so imagine that you have what I sometimes call your tangerine underneath your chin. You don't want to lose it by jutting the chin, and you don't want to squeeze it by tucking your chin too much. It's a happy medium. 2 moments here. And then take a look down and bend your front knee, and maybe you need a little bit more space forward and back. I do, so you can always inch that foot forward a little bit carefully. If you prefer your left forearm across your thigh, do it that way, it's great. We have our top arm behind our back. We're still not squishing or losing our tangerine. We're turning bottom ribs to the sky, a couple moments. Now take a look down. Carefully with your belly firm, left thumb to the sky. We're in a warrior 2, but our top arm, our right arm is behind our back. Now, left thumb to the sky, pat yourself on the back while we're here. Remind your left thigh to make its way to the left and not collapse to the right. It's part of what you're patting yourself on the back for, is how well you're doing that. 2 moments. Unwind your arms, thumbs to the sky, and then reach out in front of you as if to hug someone, and it's you'll hug with your left elbow on top. And you can always make the full arms happen if that goes on in your body. But who doesn't love a hug? Not a bad place to stay, don't you think? And then unwind your arms, thumbs to the sky. Straighten your front legs slowly. Turn all your toes to face that long edge of your mat. Heel toe, your feet until you're hip distance. and then we will once again tend to our props and make sure that they're not underfoot. So off to the side with our blocks. And step to the front edge of your mat. Take a moment standing in your mountain. I'm going to face you so that I'm a little easier to see. Tree pose in our legs. So you want to hug that left hip in and make either a kickstand with your right foot, or you can place it on that shin, or not on top of your knee, but maybe eventually into the inner thigh. Don't worry about how high up it goes. Really let this be interesting, the outer hip hugging in. Now this is where holding on to the side of our chair or the back of our chair or using a wall might be handy. If it's available, right thumb to the sky. Hey, what if you pat yourself on the back again? Hey, what if you take the back of your left hand to the small of your back and just see how that goes? You gotta hug that outer left hip in, and I find it's pretty good to have a sense of humor here. Don't you think? 2 more moments. Now place your hand on the back of your chair or your wall, right thumb to the sky, and then right knee out in front of you. Stand into your mountain and pause. Second side with our little balance game. It's just an arm and a leg, isn't it? Now you're going to place the weight onto your right foot and the emphasis into hugging that right hip in. The kickstand's perfect. The foot on the shin, brilliant. You can use your hand on your chair. If at some point the foot in the inner thigh has your name on it, great. But that's where you have to really be careful to hug that right hip in. That's where it's very convincing to let that fall out to the side. Now, you can keep your hand on your chair. We'll take left thumb to the sky and then pat yourself on the back. If available, back of the right hand into the small of your back. Find your sense of humor and find your breath and your gazing point. 2 moments here. Unwind your arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky. Probably hand on something like the back of your chair, left knee forward, feet hip distance, pause. Great, now shift the weight onto your left foot and now cross over your right toes to the ground. So it's like a kickstand on the other side of your foot, and we're gonna hug both sets of hips in. So we don't let it become something like we're waiting in line at the supermarket, right? Arms out in front of you. Remember all these beautiful hugs you've given yourself. Left elbow on top, give yourself a hug here. If the full arm expression has your name on it, have at it. Eventually, maybe you bend your left knee and cross the right knee on top so that all of your weight is on your left foot, and it's like we're seated cross-legged. That's a lot to balance, so you can keep the kickstand down for as long as you'd like. All of us, outer hips hugging into a midline. 2 moments, probably good to have your sense of humor here too. I think that's something that you want to take with you everywhere you go. Unwind, find your mountain, and pause. Now stand onto your right leg and kickstand your left foot over. This is perfect. Arms out in front of you, thumbs to the sky. Right elbow on top for your hug. It could also be the full expression of your arm, your eagle arms. And only if it's a good idea might you start to play with bending your right knee and just sliding your left knee over your right knee like we're seated cross-legged. But the big whoop, the important part is outer hips hugging in. So it doesn't matter to me if that's a kickstand or all of your weight on that right foot. The important part is the structure, the architecture. 2 more moments. Then unwind, find your mountain, feet hip distance. We'll make our way to the floor with a half sun salutation. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape, and exhale, hinge at your hips. Hands placed on your thighs. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. And then use the hinge at your hips to either place your hands on your chair or maybe on your blocks, but make your way onto your mat. onto hands and knees, and maybe with a folded blanket or towel underneath your knees so that it doesn't feel like it's too intense. We want to be strategic with placing our wrists underneath our shoulders. They're not too far out in front of us and shrugging our shoulders into our ears. They're not so far back behind us that it's too much on our wrists and not very good for our balance. Low belly is lifting. Now step your right foot back like you're flirting with a plank. Really feel the uplift of your belly and the oomph into your arms here. And then potentially lift your right leg, lift it from its inseam, make sure your left knee is fine. You can come up onto your left fingertips, maybe thumb to the sky, you reach your arm out in front of you, and it's like the reach that we did before our hug or our eagle arms. Stay for a couple of moments here, a little bit of balance with the opposite arm and leg. You got to keep the oomph happening in that right arm, don't you think? 3 moments here. You can always leave it earlier if you want or need to. Now place your left hand down and your right knee down. Just come kneeling so that we can make circles with our wrists one direction and circles with our wrists the other direction. Just let that all go. Once again, very skillful in our positioning of our wrists underneath our shoulders. We're paying attention to lifting our low belly. Step your left foot back, flirt with that plank, get a little oomph in the arms, a lot of oomph in a lift of the low belly, so we've got what's called trunk stability. And then lift your left leg. It doesn't have to go high. In fact, we don't want it any higher than our hip. Already you can feel a little bit of balance. Then we add the opposite arm and leg, so right fingertips maybe, right arm, thumb to the sky. Oomph in that left arm. Often when we do things that are opposite arm and leg or opposite things on the two sides of our body, I refer to that as brain food. And it is, and this practice is quite a good brain food snack, all in all. Keep breathing here. 3 more moments. If you need to leave it early, please do. Oomph into your left arm. We hold the pose, but not our breath. And then right hand down, left knee down. Come kneeling, turn your wrists in one direction, twirl your wrists in the other. And then we'll fold our blankets so that they're a little bit taller, a little bit more like a bench. And this is where you might actually even decide to use a cushion from your couch or the pillow from your bed or something that gives you even more of a little bit of a lift. And then when we're seated on our bolster or our folded blanket or pillow, whatever you want to call it, we want to stay away from rolling into the backs of the sit bones and collapsing. So think of leaning forward. That for many of us means that a bend in our knees is going to be helpful. Now, you may want to block close by to be helpful here. Extend both of your legs out in front of you. Again, if it needs to have a bend so that you can sit tall, please feel free to do that. Bend your right knee. Think of the tree pose that we did. We're just doing tree pose here, seated. It could go in the inner thigh. It might go in the shin. This is where perhaps putting the block underneath your right thigh bone is the move that you want to make. Curl your left toes back towards you. Sit up tall. Thumbs to the sky, V shape overhead. Right hand pats you on the back. Left thumb faces down, back of your hand to the small of your back. We use this as a meditation and the brain food that I mentioned because we have different things happening on both sides with our arms and different things happening with both sides with our legs. Good stuff. A full minute of silence while we meditate. Feel free to close your eyes if that works for you. And gently release your right arm thumbs to the sky, your left arm thumb to the sky, and then release your arms, and we'll release the leg but with care. So take your right hand onto your right thigh and help it along as you straighten that right leg out, and we switch sides. So figure 4 or tree pose, if you will, with the left foot in the shin, maybe in the inner thigh. Could be that you use your block underneath your left thigh, thumbs to the sky, a V shape. And this time, right palm to the sky. Nope, that's not what I mean. Left hand pats you on the back, and right palm into the small of your back. We switch sides. Curl those right toes back. Take a moment to notice we've got opposite things happening on opposite sides of us. You can close your eyes or just soften your gaze. 1 minute of meditation here. Just gently release your arms, thumbs to the sky, out to the side, maybe a V shape overhead. Lower your arms, help it along. Extend your left leg out in front of you. And now you get to make a choice. You can bend your knees, come off your stoop, and lie down for your Shavasana, as we often do. Or you can take a cross-legged seated meditation to close our practice. There's not one right or wrong way, but there's your way, and I want you to celebrate that. Decide what's going to be juiciest for you. Where can you get the rest and digest? Settle into your Shavasana or your seat. Close, if you're in Shavasana, maybe cover your eyes. Let yourself completely let go. If you're lying in Shavasana, feel free to stay there as long as you'd like. But your way out is that you'll maybe stretch in opposite directions and then collect your knees into your chest. Roll carefully to one side and come join us in a seated cross-legged position or any other seat that's comfortable to you. You can let your palms go up or down. Just take a moment to appreciate how many benefits there are to this practice that we do together. Brain food, breath work, strength, flexibility. Take all these gems with you off your mat and sprinkle them into your day. I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I look forward to us doing it again together soon.